Juhudi wa nuru.
Imwa TV, TV wa ishipa. Imwa TV, TV wa ishipa.
Morning, it is the 10th day of June 2024. Well, today a lot of things happening that all around the news, and there's so much, especially around Parliament, because it's a Monday, no sittings today, but the parliamentary committees are meeting, and there is a lot that has been put forward. For example, there is a joint sitting between the Standing Committee on Devolution and Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, and this is because there's a petition that has been put forward to restrict county governments from hiring external law firms for legal representation in court cases. And also, there is a press conference by developers on President William Ruto's directive on construction of buildings around the Eastleigh Air Base, and that is going to be happening today. And also, the Public Accounts Committee will this morning have examined the report of the Auditor General for the year ended 30th June 2022 with regards to the accounts of the Public Service Commission. And also, the Senate Health Committee is scheduled to hold a meeting with the Governor of Isiolo on issues raised in a statement sought by Senator Fatuma Dulo. So that's part of it. And also, outside of Nairobi, we've got the launch of the Butere Girls High School Digital Hub, and this is going to be officially launched by the First Lady, Mama Rachel Ruto, and so that event is going to be happening there. And also present will be His Excellency Fernandez Barasa, who's the Governor of Kakamega County, and the Honorable Eliud Owalo, who's the Cabinet Secretary for ICT and the Digital Economy. And remember that this week, the budgetary statements are going to be read in Parliament by the Cabinet Secretary for the Treasury and National Planning, Professor Jogona Ndogo, and that is on the 13th of June. That's Thursday. And ahead of that, there is a pre-budget media briefing that is going on, and it's being done by financial services firm PKF, so it's happening in Nairobi. And at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, it is the day for you to present your views on the Finance Bill 2024. Public participation is something that has been enshrined in the Constitution for you, and they will, the public has been allowed to go and present their views. You can present it orally, or you can go and present rather verbally by making a presentation to the Committee of Parliament, and also you can also put in a written petition, submissions on your views on the Finance Bill 2023. So that's part of what our news team is covering. And from the sporting side, Kenya is hosting the continent. 12 countries are competing in the Billie Jean King Cup, which is the World Cup of tennis. This is Africa Division 3. Kenya finished third in last year's edition. Today they have been, and they were not seeded in last year's competition. But this year they have been seeded fourth, and they have been drawn in Group B, and they will be playing against Tunisia, Mauritius and Burundi. Mauritius are their first opponents today. And just to build up to that tournament that's going to be hosted at the Nairobi Club all week, Mary Wavinya will be joining us at 10:30, around 20 minutes to 11, and to give us a feel of the competition and all that's going on, because this is a huge one. The winners get promoted to Europe Africa Division 2. The team that finishes last goes down to Division 4. So, apologies, it's a promotion and relegation event that is going to be taking place at the Nairobi Club, and this is all of this week. I know my colleague Bernard Kumwena will also be covering that as it happens. So later today, remember that the Junior Starlets coming back into the country at 1:30 p.m. That's when they arrive after winning 3-0 against Burundi. They've got one foot in the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup to be hosted in the Dominican Republic. The return leg is on Sunday. So we'll be keeping up with that one too. And also as we build up to tomorrow's match, that's going to be live on KBC Channel 1, Kenya versus Cote d'Ivoire, FIFA World Cup qualifying. So we are going to be going through all these FIFA World Cup qualifiers that have been played and review them and see which 9 teams could be making it to Mexico, USA, and Canada next year. So part of the conversations that we're going to be having today. And also from Douala, we're going to be joined by Jean Kela Kota. He is a project manager for the Senior African Athletics Championships. Cameroon is going to be hosting the continent 11 days from now. So there is a lot that is happening in the conversations that we're going to have all around sport, locally and internationally. So join us and remember our hashtag SportsCheckKBC, and let's start our conversation this morning. First, we're going to be talking about cycling, and maybe Frank, you could just give us a picture of this competition bicycle that is here. This is not your everyday bicycle. This is a mountain bicycle, and we are with the elite development official at the Kenya Cycling Federation, Kelvin Mwangi, who's here with us. Kelvin, welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you
to be here.
All right. So we shall be getting to understand, this bicycle and how it works, because this being a competition bicycle, you may see things, as normal. It's just basically ingine too. But there are ways that they do set them up and make sure that it is in tip-top condition for competitions. So Kelvin, cycling in the country, let's just start with the mountain bike, the African mountain bike championships in Morocco. Let's start there. Kenya winning the bronze medals, because that's where we are seeing the sport slanting towards mountain and gravel. Start with Morocco.
Well, thank you so much for having me here once again. I'd like to say that the Cycling Federation has been on a journey together with the cycling environment in Kenya. Ever since the last couple of years, especially the last 5 years, we've been doing a lot of transition. And most of our effort, especially, has been we're trying to put on our stronghold. And that stronghold, we're seeing that it's in the mountain bike. And we've put a lot of capacity building in that area. And to that effect, the result was in the last concluded African Championship, last African Mountain Bike Championships, we are able to secure 1 gold in the under 23. This is a feat that we've never experienced before in the Kenya cycling. And
I think the best we've done is what? I think it was a bronze medal by Chris Froome in 2007.
Yes, that was the roads. But in the mountains, we have secured a bronze previously, but not a gold. And so now we got a gold in the under 23 from a very promising lady, young girl. And we also are able to secure 2 bronze medals. And one was still the other lady, and still another lady from the program that Kenya Cycling Federation is running.
So actually the bronze medalist, Monica Kiplagat in the cross-country Olympic class and Grace Kamindo in the cross-country short course. Just to explain this, just describe what the cross-country Olympic class is in terms of cycling.
Okay. The Olympics?
The Olympic class, as they would call it, because there were events, cross-country Olympic and cross-country short course.
Yes.
What's the difference between the two, cross-country Olympic and short course?
Yes, well, when it comes to the short course, it's a time frame race, about 40 minutes. You keep going on the lap for about 40 minutes, and whoever, if you finish the first, of course, you're number 1. When it comes to Olympics, you do, for the ladies, you do seven laps, between 5 and 7 laps. On a course of about 20 kilometers, and with that, the winner is determined from it.
20 kilometers times 740 kilometers.
You could do that, yeah.
Well, just to put it into context, that is Nairobi to some place close to Karatina town.
Yes.
So, or even say Lanet.
Yes.
Nairobi to Lanet.
Yes.
And it's all on different. So how do they set up these obstacle course, the obstacles for cross-country, what we call the cross-country Olympic, which is now defined, and you've got to do all that?
Well, when you come in to lay out a course, there's a standard that you've been given by our international IF, and there are obstacles that need to be put up, and then the international IF, of course, has to come and investigate and look at the cost for it to be approved. And we put the obstacles that are there. First of all, we put some rocks, and also we put areas for jumping, because when you find areas for jumping, we have like there's a line A and there's a line B. Mostly the line A is where you get to see people jump over like a loop, and then you get, if you cannot do the jump, you have to take the route B, where you find it's like a zigzag sort of course. And this is just to challenge you to be able to just have a little bit more skills when it comes to the mountain bike area.
So where you've got what you've called the route A and the route B now, what are the advantages and disadvantages, say, of taking the jump, or if you've now got to take, I think in some other sport they call it the joker lap, where you've...
The line B.
The line B.
Okay. Well, the line A, of course, it propels you faster because it's a jump and it's on the straight route. And this is where, if you're technically fit, you're able to absolutely overtake your opponents. And if you take the line B, it's a big disadvantage to you, because as the guys are jumping and they're going straight, you have to take like a detour.
A detour, yes.
Yes, to be able where the rest are.
Well, and let's talk about the men's side of the competition, because we've seen the success that came through with the women.
Yes.
Where's the men's sport linked now?
In terms of catching up?
Performance, looking at the African championships that we've had, you know, you have to scroll way down to see where the men are, because South Africa totally dominated, for example, the men's.
That is true. That is true. So what we did for the men's is we had to go back to the drawing board, and to the drawing board we went back to get into the juniors. We had to now start building a whole team from the guys who were called the juniors. And also from the age of 10 all the way. We've come up with a development course that they're taking up, and we've also gotten a lot of trainees to come and train the men, especially. These are UCI certified coaches, and for the men, I know if you look at the results from the African Championships, you'll see South Africa, and they are ahead of us because they started this journey of identifying the young riders from a younger age way earlier before us, but we are catching up with that. And if you can see, our best rated athlete was right after the South Africans. We had the Namibians, and we had one guy from Zimbabwe, and then we have the Kenyan. And these are the guys who have really invested, especially in the equipment. They've invested their time, they've invested a lot of resources towards that. And our guys, the challenge we have with our young guys is, first of all, they need to go to school, and then they need to come and train in the afternoon. We have a small challenge in that, but we are working towards just finding a good working formula together with the coaches that are working with them.
Well, and when it comes to development, for example, we know of the teams that are there. We know now there's Amani, there's a whole group. They are very active when it comes to the gravel.
Yes.
David Kinja and his Safari Simbas have been quite a story. They've been there. It's quite a huge story that has been told. So if you are now to work around the areas, the areas around, cycling and, such established things, what's the communication that you're giving to them as they do this? Because, for example, for somebody like Kinja, it's an extreme passion when it comes to cycling.
Absolutely. First of all, kudos to guys like Kinja. I've known Kinja for a while, and he's been a good mentor to a lot of upcoming cyclists and many other cyclists that are there. Well, our message to them, and has always been, especially recently, is we are not in competition with you. We are doing collaboration. So we are in partnership in trying to grow cycling as a whole. And with that, we've done a lot of just engagements in areas that we can be able to just help them grow. We've been able to identify some of their cyclists who can go for further training, especially in South Africa and some of them in Europe. This year, we've been able to send about 3 cyclists in Europe. These are club-based cyclists, not because the federation does not own any cyclists as such. And we've been able to partner with guys like Amani, and Amani are doing a big thing, and kudos to them, because you cannot, first of all, dictate what the club does, and they come up with their ideas, and once they bring them to us, we're able to just come up with a working formula that incorporates both of us to be able to take cycling forward.
Now, it's all, whenever you pick these athletes and you take them for elite development in Europe as an elite development official, just tell us the process that goes through such that even when you pick somebody, say, from Kakamega Cycling Club or Narok Cycling Club, and they have got the criteria they've got to meet to be accepted for elite training in Europe.
Yes.
Just take us through that.
First of all, you need to be accredited by the Kenya Cycling Federation. Kenya Cycling Federation is the one that is going to give you a UCI license. A UCI license is what enables you to compete outside the country on the IF's certified races. And how we're able to choose the cyclists who are able to go for further development is we look at the races that are in the country that are going on, and more to that, we usually call for trials, our own trials as a federation. And from this, we're able to see the development that a cyclist has been taking, and then we take a one-on-one engagement with them to see what kind of passion they have. Could be a short while, maybe kind of thing they're doing, and we do not want to just put resources on somebody who's going to quit tomorrow. So once we've identified this is a long-term cyclist that we're going to have that is going to be able to just bring back the expertise back to Kenya, we write to the IF. They also have their own criteria that they look at, and once we are in agreement, we start the process. Yes.
So here we are, and let's actually now talk about these three athletes and some of the changes, because they always have to give feedback.
Yes.
We see a footballer go to Europe, and every time they say that one of the things they keep saying is little things that we take for granted. For example, just the playing surface.
Yes.
Or even how you rest and the kind of medical attention that you're given. Yes. How do you do this for cycling? What are the things that you're getting back from?
Okay. So our take home, especially from the African Championships, is that we are lagging behind in terms of equipment. We have like perhaps the bike that is in front of us. This is a bike that is 7-8 years old. Much as it can look like it's very competitive, the guys you're competing against, these are guys who have modern bikes, which are 2023, 2024 bikes that have just been released. So this is one of the areas that we've been lobbying the government to be able to get us good equipment. The other part, we found that the courses we use here are not as advanced as the ones that they have there. So we are coming up, when we came back, we sat down as the federation, led by our executives, and they decided on the things that we need to up, and the route was identified. It's coming up in the sides for E10, so that we can be able to compete as they're competing in that area, and be able to, there are other things for specialization in terms of athletes. You have an athlete here in Kenya probably just competing in mountain bike, also competing in the road bike. And this now is what we are narrowing down to be able to just get athletes who are just specializing either in mountain bike alone or either in road bike alone. Yes.
So let's now actually just take up a look at this mountain bike, and then there are two other bicycles that actually I'll count three. There's the indoor, the velodrome.
Yes, it's a track bike.
It's a track bike.
Yes.
You've got the road bicycle.
Yes.
And you've got the one that's used for gravel. How different is it from this?
Well, this is what you call a mountain bike.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can go around and let's just take a look at this mountain bike that is here, so that we can fully understand and how different it is from the road bicycle and the track bicycle.
Yes.
So let's start with this. So full mountain bike. So take us through the parts. This camera right up here, so it's going to pick it.
So this is what you call a mountain bike, and if you can look at it, you can see the shape is absolutely different from the other bikes that you see on the road. So this is what you call the handlebar, and these are the wheels, and then this is what we call a fork that is up here, the front thing that you see here. I will talk about it in a bit. And this is what we call the front crank, and this we have the back derailleur, and then these are part of the gears that usually help you when you're trying to find the right speed and the right amount of effort to put on your bike. And on this bike, if I can just turn the front wheel, you'll see it has these brakes. These are the kind of brakes that we use nowadays. They're called the disc brakes, as opposed to the previous ones that we used to use the brake pads. So
the ones which now come to the hub
Yes, they used to
around the
this is called the rim, and the tire. So previously we used to have the brake pads that used to, once you apply the brake pressure, they used to hold on to the rim, and they had their own disadvantages, and that's why we had to introduce the disc brakes. And well, the cycling companies came up with the disc brakes, which are doing amazing job. Yeah. So probably I could take you through what we call before you ride a bike, what you need to do.
All right. So we'll be coming back to that, and Calvin, because right now we mentioned about the Billie Jean King Cup, which is the World Cup of tennis, and we've got Mary Wavinya, who's at the Nairobi Club with the Secretary General of Tennis Kenya, and she is right at the courts, and I can see how beautiful the clay courts are, basically just by taking a look at them. Bricks that were bought in Kakamega and are now being used for international competition. So ukiwa Kakamega, know that you've got business here. So the Billie Jean King Cup, Africa Division 3. Let's go over to Mary Wavinya, who is with Wanjiru Mbogwa.
Thank you, Wahome. Today is a greater day in Kenya. Of course, we have the junior starlets on the brink of the World Cup qualification. That is football-wise. We'll be waiting for them at the JKI with Okumu. But right now, things are fun with Wanjiru Mbugwa. Yes, we are at Nairobi Cup for the Billie Jean King's Cup. The ladies are actually playing. We have number 1 in Kenya. That is Angela Okutoya, and this was the mood. We were just dancing before. If you can open up, you can see we are just dancing to some Isukuti, because we are having fun here before Angela gets into the court. And I'm joined by the vice chairperson of the Confederations of African Tennis, that is Wanjiru Mbogwa. You saw on Saturday, but you've not had enough of her. Thank you. Karibu sana, Wanji.
Asante Wavinya, na karibuni. Of course. That is the mood at Nairobi Club. We are excited, we are energetic, we are ready to start.
A lot is happening today. We have our girls, Angie, taking to the court first. A lot at stake.
Cheruto is taking to the court first, followed by Angie. Today we are playing Mauritius. And yes, we are ready. We are playing 2 singles, followed by a doubles. For people to understand, what is the Billie Jean King's Cup all about, and why the hullabaloo about it? I understand from my side because I love the girls.
Yeah, but just to explain to the Mwananchi what it's all about.
So the Billie Jean King Cup is a World Cup of tennis. It is a team event, and it is the tennis team event. And we have Davis Cup for men, and we have Billie Jean King Cup for the women. This is Africa's Africa Group 3 event happening right here in Nairobi, Kenya at the Nairobi Club courts. Yeah.
And we have 5 girls in action. I know Angie, Rosie, Alicia, and Cheruto, who are in Tunisia, and Stacy. Yes. And how ready are they for this event? Because I can see we have other girls from all over the world. Some are even seated here just watching us.
Yes. Yeah. So our team is ready. They have been training. Angela and Cheruto have been training in Tunisia as an Olympic qualifier, and the rest have been training right here in Nairobi, since 2 of them have been training in the US, but they managed to come and join Stacy, and so they've been here for the last 3 weeks training. So the girls are well prepared. They've been in a residential camp, and last night they were able to move into the official hotel. They are ready, they have energy, they are laughing, they are looking forward to do a great thing for Kenya.
How many countries do you have competing, and vis-a-vis Kenya? I know you speak for Africa also, and you also speak for Kenya. Yeah.
Yes. So we have 12 countries participating from all over Africa. This is the top group in Africa, and the winner will go to Group 2, Euro Africa Group 2, and the last team, number 12, will go down to Group 4.
Last year, we hosted the same event here, and we finished number 3. What went wrong, and what have we done to make sure that that doesn't happen again? And now, speaking from the Kenyan side of point of view, I know you carry 2 faces.
So from last year, not what went wrong, what went right. We came from number 11th seeding, and we finished at number 3. It was very difficult for our Kenyan girls because they beat Morocco, who was the top seed. and unfortunately lost to Nigeria, who were the number 3 seed. But you can imagine they came all the way from number 11 and finished at number 3. So I would say that was a great feat last year. So this year we are number 4 because South Africa now is in our group. So we are ranked number 4. We are in Pool B, and we are going to be meeting Burundi, Tunisia, and Mauritius. Yeah, so that's where we are.
So what are our expectations and expectations of the whole continent now that you've been hosting so many events in Kenya? That is a good thing for tennis Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our expectations first is that we shall deliver a good tournament, that the players will be, the matches will be extremely competitive. Already there's a lot of psych and a lot of energy. You can see the Isikuti dancers are here to bring on the psych for the girls. Kenya is expecting to do very well. We are seeded 4th this time. You can see it's a great improvement from number 11 last time. And I see we can easily win this event. We have South Africa as the top seeds, followed by Tunisia as number 2 and Nigeria as number 3. But on a good day, we can beat any of them.
And a good day, if you can open up, we have the CS on my, is it left? If you can open up, we have our CS with us today, and with the president of Tennis Kenya, that is James Kenani. I also saw the president of Kenya Volleyball, so they are here to support the girls, and a lot of dignitaries. Whom can you see there? Sometimes my eyes fail me, Wanji.
I can see some sponsors from Nairobi Sports House. I can see the chairman of Nairobi Club, and I can see, I can see Jim Davis' son. Do you remember Jim?
Yes, I do.
Davis up there, and it's amazing. He has not come here, been here for a long time since his dad passed away, and his father was the father of tennis in Kenya, and yes, we have him right here.
That means it's a big day, and we are still waiting for play. What is causing the delay?
As soon as I leave here, I need to get on court and find out what is happening.
That means we're delaying a most important person before you go.
Yes.
Angie, on the road to Paris, where are we at?
So we have finished we are finishing the qualifying period yesterday. Actually, it ended yesterday. She has not reached top 400, which was a requirement. So we are appealing to ITF to consider that African Games was postponed by a whole year, which left Angie with only 2 months to try and make this achievement to come to top 400. So it is in their hands, and we shall wait and see what it is. But I think we have a strong case because, African Games was meant to be held in July, which would have given her 10 months to get into the top 400. Instead, she's been left with 7 weeks to try and do the same thing she would have had to do in 10 months. So you can see she's a human being. She gets tired, and she's had some good weeks and some not so good weeks because we've tried to play her as much as possible to be able to get those ranking points. So we are just praying and hoping.
Yeah, thank you. And she's right behind me. I think they're about to start.
Yeah, they're
I'm
right
going
there.
to release you a big day, even as from where you sit. Junior starlets in football are on the brink of qualification for the World Cup. And I know you have a lot to say because you have been very supportive to the girls child as well. Not forgetting both genders. One.
Yes, of course. And we are supporting, and we want women's tennis, women's sports to grow, and we shall continue supporting each one. We are excited. At Paris, we have almost 50-50 heading out to Paris 2024. So we shall continue supporting women's sports.
And for those who want to come to Nairobi Club, you don't shout a lot when they're playing. Just give them the rules and yeah.
No. So during a normal professional tournament, you're only allowed to clap at certain intervals. But this is a team event, and therefore that's why you've seen us with the Isikuti dancers. And during the week, as soon as we start, you'll start seeing a lot more people here. And they are allowed to cheer. So long as the ball is not in play, they are allowed to cheer as loudly as possible. So mkuje na vuvuzela, mkuje na drums, come with everything you've got to make noise for Team Kenya.
And I love that Wahome. Kidogo tu tuonyeshe vile tutakuwa tuna dance. As we leave you with the pictures from Nairobi Club. Karibuni. I have to let her go, unfortunately. Karibu sana. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Abija.
Back to you, Wahome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mary Wavinya at the Nairobi Club, and you can see the excitement because the first rubber is about to be played. That's the language that they would use. Kenya playing against Mauritius. This is a Group B match, and this is the Billie Jean King Africa Cup, Group 3. So Kenya start their campaign now. So let's get back to a conversation here in studio. And we're talking about the state of cycling in Kenya, and we're with Kelvin Ongi, who is one of the elite development officials at the Kenya Cycling Federation, taking us through the bicycle and what everyone needs to do, the parts of the bicycle. So the handlebars, this is known as the fork, the wheels there, you've got the rim, the spoke, the disc brakes, you got your pedals.
Yes.
And the reason why they're not this is because your footwear locks in.
Yes.
So, and we've got the gears right here and all of that.
Yes.
So, a quick check of what every competitor must do when they're given the bike and they're about to, and this is a mountain bike. So remember that there is the track bike, there is the road bike, and there is one for gravel.
Yes.
Gravel. So the difference is just going to explain you this, for example, as a prop. So let's go.
Okay.
Spot check for anyone who wants to compete.
Yes. So number one, you need to have your equipment right. You need to have your helmet with you. That is the basic for riding a bike, because safety first in everything that we do. So and then you write down the letter M, and the letter M you start now with your M. You start down. You see whether your tires are fixed completely. You don't want to be riding and your wheel comes off. Then you go up. You check on your handlebar. You check whether it's loose, whether it's moving, and then you move this. You shake it up a bit to see whether it's properly placed. You look at the brakes, whether they are properly working. That is very important. And then now you'll check on your gears, whether they are placed in a proper way. And then you go down from the M, you go down, you come and look at your pedals. Because some of the times you can come and see, you'll find that your crank might become loose without you knowing.
Okay, let's just take, to ensure that your crank, which is this, is in the right.
Yes. You come, you shake, because you know you're supposed to be pedaling absolutely 180 degrees against each other. So you need to check whether this one is moving across each other, and you shake it a bit. As you can see, this one is properly fixed. This one is now ready for a world championship. And then you go up. This is called the seat post. You check whether it's properly secured. You shake by checking your chair whether it's moving or not. You see whether it's cracked, because we've had incidences where a cyclist is going and the seat post comes off. This means you either get off the race or you spend the rest of the race just standing up, which might be very tiresome. And then you come down on this other side, you check whether the wheel is also secure, and you look at all the components that are involved in this part. So, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this saddle, because there is a way you set it and looks like there is a level of some sort that is right here. So how do you adjust this seat?
With this one, you open here. There are tools, some which can be opened by a quick release, and some which need a little bit of tightening. Like this one had to be tightened real quick to be secured. So you remove it, and how you place how you do the bike fitting to be able to know what size your saddle needs to be. You need to go to a bike fitter. But for a quick bike fitting situation, you put this pedal down exactly when it's like that. You sit on the chair, and then you put your back heel. You put your back heel down here. Make sure your leg is straight.
So something like that?
Yes. So
when you're seated on it?
When you're seated on it, but your foot also needs to be straight.
All right.
Yes, like that. So you place it in such a way that your leg is straight down completely. Yes.
All right. And at what level, at what elevation should your leg look like for you to be comfortable on the bicycle?
Yeah. When you put this, when you put it exactly down completely like this, and then your leg will be straight, that means you seated. But when you sit down and start pedaling, because you pedal at the front of your heel, of your foot, you're going to pedal from the front of it. So you're going to have a little bit of a margin for you to be able to bend and to be able to pedal with that.
Okay. Hapa iko swali.
Iko jibu.
Iko jibu.
Yeah.
You know how we pedal?
Yes.
Like this. This is how most of us pedal. With the ball of the foot right there.
That's where you pedal. Absolutely.
That's where you do it.
That's how you should.
That's how you should.
Yes.
So that you exert all the pressure here.
Yes.
So for those who place it
In the middle of the food? No, that's a wrong one. Because how you need to know is you close your eyes and then you jump. You look at where you're exerting pressure with your feet.
Okay.
And where you exert most pressure on your feet is right behind the toes. That's where most of the energy, or the side of the foot. Yes.
Okay, very well. So there you've had it. It's a competition of mountain bikes. So Calvin, just stand there because looks like we're going to be up on our feet because we're now moving over to Homa Bay County, where our reporter Wycliffe Fokech is having a conversation as there are the UDA elections, the grassroots elections happening, and Wycliffe Fokech is out there. He's going to be speaking with Dr. Evans, the Honorable Dr. Evans Kidero. So Wycliffe Fokech, over to you. Then we'll come back and talk more about the other bicycles and how different they are from this mountain bike.
Harakisha ule jamaa. Well, thank you so much, Daniel Wahome. We are coming to you live from the Lakeside County of Homa Bay this Monday, the 10th of June 2024. This is the fourth round of the United Democratic Alliance Party grassroots elections that began sometime in April, actually. Today it is taking place at the county level. It's begun in April. It's all started with the polling station election, then it moved to the ward level, and then it moved to the sub-county level, and now today being the fourth round of that exercise that is taking place at the county level. Remember, this is a staggered exercise that was scheduled to take place in 5 counties, that is in the county of Homa Bay, Nairobi, and Narok, West Pokot, and Busia. But then again, due to contention of the outcome of this exercise at the sub-county level, now the election exercise for the capital Nairobi, Narok, and West Pokot were postponed. But then again, only Busia and Wahome Bay counties are undertaking this exercise today. And to give us much more information regarding this exercise, let me just bring on board one of the officials managing this exercise in Wahome Bay County. If you can look into the camera, maybe you want to introduce yourself and tell us exactly how is this exercise panning out since morning.
Very well. My name is Halake Dida. I'm a member of the National Elections Board of UDA, responsible for Homa Bay County. We've commenced the grassroots elections of our party on the 26th of April this year. We conducted elections at the polling centers level. Thereafter, we proceeded to the ward elections on the 18th of May. And after the conclusion of the ward election, we proceeded to the constituency elections on the 31st of May. Today, we are conducting county elections. I must commend actually the candidates who actually put forward themselves for them to be voted. I also want to appreciate members who actively participated in this election, and a special thanks to the voters who exercised their democratic rights to elect leaders of their choice. The process has been free from any significant incidences. I must say, as a party, we've ensured there is utmost transparency, fairness in this process. I can confirm that this process was free, fair, credible, and a very verifiable exercise. Yes.
And if you look at this exercise, it is a staggered exercise, and it was meant to happen in 5 counties for the first phase, right? Homa Bay being one of them. But if you look at today, it's happening at the county level, right? That's the 4th round. And it's only, instead of 5, now it's taking place in the 2 counties, that is Homa Bay and Busia. What does that tell you about Homa Bay County insofar the UDA party penetration? Because we haven't had any sort of incident, a significant incident that maybe threaten the exercise here.
Yes, indeed. It is true. In the first phase, we had 5 counties. We did submit our report as the National Elections Board to the National Executive Committee in the presence of the party leader. Homa Bay stood out as the party that had 0 repeats. We only had 1 complaint that was lodged with the Election Dispute Resolution Committee. Of all the 5 counties, Homa Bay stood out that the process has been very fair. And people have appreciated the process. And persons who are elected were an indication of the choice and will of the voters. Yes.
At the end of the day, how many will be elected in Homa Bay County to represent the UDA party at the county level?
Yes, we've, at the polling center level, we commenced with about 14,300 candidates. Today, we are having, at the county level, we're having 14 candidates who are fighting out to get at least 20 positions within the county. So we'll be having 20 elected officials at the county level. Yes.
Thank you so much. Daniel, that is one of the officials managing this exercise in Wahome Bay County. But then again, we are talking about the UDA. And the recent past, we've had quite intrigues, the push and pull within the party. But then it's politics, and that is normal within the party setup. And just briefly, before I hand it back to you, let me engage one of the party adherents and the players in the political scene insofar the UDA party is concerned in Wahome Bay County. If I may, you may look into the camera. The UDA party, it is only in Homa Bay and Busia that are taking this exercise. Initially, it was 5 counties, including the capital, Nairobi. But the push and pull, the contestation of the outcome has led to the halting of the exercise in 3 other counties, meaning only Homa Bay and Busia. What does that tell you about the UDA party in Homa Bay County?
Thank you so much. My name is Kenny Dobuya. I've been the interim chair for UDA in Homa Bay County. For now, I'm a candidate. Looking forward to being retained by the UDA member delegates in the same position I've held on interim basis. The question you've asked, really, I want to tell you confidently that a party that attracts normally will not lack squabbles, and it is positive. So I would say that Busia, and specifically in Homa Bay, UDA is a new party in Homa Bay County, and the level of acceptance for UDA by Homa Bay County community is in another level. And we don't take it for granted. We are making an appeal that we've been making before, that Homa Bay County community, my community, because Homa Bay County somehow is cosmopolitan. We have people from different races and different tribes, but comprised by majority of Luos and Subas. So we want to tell that Homa Bay County is a peaceful, democratic county. UDA at any given point will be at 50+%, and we are looking forward, after this exercise, to engage our community, irrespective of their political affiliations, so that we engage constructively in building our community and also supporting our party leader, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and our sons who have been privileged, led by Dr. Raymond Omolo, who have been privileged.
Talking about constructive, I know we are pressed on time, but then the last question, talking about constructive politics and constructive engagement, you look at, we have seen the push and pull. We have witnessed some push and pull within the party, and like you mentioned, it's a growing party and attracting quite a number of following. And one of the factors that is causing that is the finance bill that has been that is yet to be tabled, and it's sharing of the national cake that is kind of causing that kind of intrigue. In your opinion, as a Kenyan and also probably a political player, what would this suggest? Do you think the 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote that is being fronted is viable?
1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote isn't viable. Kenya is somehow very independent at regional level. We have challenges that are dynamic at specific county level. The challenges that is in Kiambu County, that is in Homa Bay County, is totally different from the challenges that affects people in Wajir and Mandera and the rest of, and Nairobi in this case. So I would make a prayer to the advocates of 1 man, 1 shilling. It is good, but Kenya is not ready for now. UDA, Kenya Kwanza government, this is not the right time that we would pull that shot. I would make a prayer that we put it on hold. First things first, let's build our economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Daniel, that earlier on we spoke with one of the officials managing this exercise in Wahome Bay County. Now, one of the political players talking to us about the political scenario regarding the UDA political framework in Wahome Bay County. And like you had mentioned, that it is time now for the country to grow the economy and put politics aside, in as much as politics is part of the day-to-day activities in the country. Actually, now it is, even as people engage in politics, it should be politics of development, constructive politics of development. And of course, like I've mentioned, this is an exercise that's rolling throughout the day. At the end of the day, 20 delegates will be elected at the county level to represent the UDA party. And in an exercise that is continuing, as you can see behind me, this is the UDA county offices in Wahome Bay that is hosting this exercise this morning. More of this exercise will come to you later on. For now, Wahome, let me hand it back to you to continue that show. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wycliffe, for catch in Wahome Bay County, where we've got the UDA grassroots elections that are taking place. So he's going to be giving us that report and also the Busia report, part of the stories that we are keeping our eyes on. So move away from politics and we get back to a conversation. It's about the state of cycling in Kenya, right on Sports Check, and we are with the lead development official at the Kenya Cycling Federation, Kelvin Mwangi, and he's just told us everything about this mountain bicycle. And by the way, Kelvin, sijui kama itatoka ofisi. I have already seen some of my colleagues. They are coming and taking a look at it. They really want your bike.
Well, this is property of the government because we are donated for by the government. So hii lazima irudi kwa serikali.
Lakini hapa hii nyumba ni ya serikali.
Different departments.
So this is actually funded by the government.
Yes. We have a lot of stakeholders that come together to help the cycling grow. Part of that is the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. You can see today they've endorsed me. And they usually help us mostly with the kits that we need, and also help us with some of the spares that we need, and a lot of capacity building in terms of education, in terms of just fine-tuning some of the things that we've gotten from the IF. And then
the IF being the International Federation, UCI.
Yes. And then we have the African Confederation that also we partner with because we are definitely under them. And then now we have the UCI themselves, and we usually send some people there for training, and we usually write requests for equipment. Last year we did write a request, and this year, and then they observe it on a need-to-need basis, and then they get back to us, and sometimes they do send us the equipment that we need.
Okay,
yes.
So there you have it. Now, just before we get back onto the seat and we talk about something that was happening in Eldoret, yes. A coaching course that you had, yes. The differences between, now, the next bike that will be close to this will be the gravel bike.
Absolutely.
So what would be the key differences between this mountain bike and the gravel bike?
Sometimes people use the mountain bikes on the gravel roads, but a road bike and a gravel bike actually are the ones which are very close to each other because they're shaped from the frame to the way the handlebars are set up, almost similar. But the wheels are completely different because now with the road bike we have the thinner wheels. These are to make it streamlined on the roads because most of them are used on the tarmac or very soft surfaces. When it comes to the gravel, you have thicker wheels, the tires themselves, and this is of course for surface area and for you to be able to navigate through the rough terrain.
So you say they're almost similar. For the road bike, I've seen it, what we used to call the
Comerella.
Yes. So the handlebars basically are the ones that are curved.
Yes, they go down like this to help with the.
Look like the
yes,
an antler's horn.
Yes. Most of the time, the reason for this is you find yourself when you want to sprint, you have to hold down there, and it makes you a little bit streamlined. But when you're a bit tired, there's the brake system where they call the integrated gear system, where you can hold them up and you can be able to just change different positions that you want. All these bikes, they keep changing from the frame to the handlebars every year, every so year. When they guys come up with a different method, thinking this is the best way to get ahead. So we're also looking forward to the next change. But there's a very strong regulation in how they're changed because of the safety aspect that is involved in cycling.
Now, because of the road bikes and also the track bikes where you've got the velodrome, the indoor racing,
yes.
Helmets,
yes,
and their design,
yes,
especially when it comes to aerodynamics, you'll find that it helps cut
Yes.
It helps you cut through the air,
Yes.
or anything such that there is a little resistance. How does that work? Can place this as we get back now
okay.
to sit.
Yes. Well, helmets are a big aspect of it, but some guys are going crazy. If you saw the last Tour de France, guys are coming up with some crazy big helmets, but they are standardized nowadays. When you come up with a design, you need to put it up to the IF to be able to see it. But most importantly is there's a difference in between the helmet that is used off-road and the one that is used on the road, and there's also a difference in the one that people use when they're doing the sprinting. It's called the time trials. So they use that and they try to make it as aerodynamic as possible.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Kelvin Mwangi, he is an elite development official, so we can get back here and talk about what was happening. And for elite development to happen, a lot of people have got to come through and have got to be involved. And they include the coaching staff and what's going on. Let's talk about the Eldoret training of coaches that you are doing. Just take us through what you really wanted from these elite coaches.
Okay. So what happened is the executive of the federation sat down and just did their own housekeeping and decided and looked at where is it that we are lagging behind. And from that, they identified that perhaps we do not have the enough capacity to be able to start building. You don't want to be bringing bikes to people that maybe do not know how to ride a bike, or they cannot maybe just get the basics of it. So from that, they identified the need of expanding the coaching base here in Kenya and in the region. And from that, last week, Kenya Cycling Federation, in conjunction with the National Olympics Federation and the UCI, our international federation body, came up with a cycling course for the level 2 cycling coaches. And in these,
what's the level 1, 2, 3? How would you describe that?
In cycling, we have the level 1, of course, the introduction. Then we have the level 2, which is a bit more advanced, and then the level 3. And now the UCI has come up with level 4 that is almost like a diploma. This has to be undertaken when you're in the World Cycling Center in Zurich, in Switzerland. So we wrote to them a request of the executive, led by the president of the SG. They wrote to the international body, and they graciously accepted to send us a trainer from one of the World Cycling Centers. So he came, and last week we trained over 15 coaches from all over Kenya. So from all these coaches that were certified, we are creating a database such that we're going to put them out there, such that if you ever need a cycling coach, you can never say there is no cycling coach in your region. And this is part of the reason that we think this is part of the exercise that we are doing, hoping that it will grow cycling to the Mwananchi.
All right. Thank you very much, Kelvin Mwangi. He is the elite development official at Kenya Cycling Federation. And very soon I'll make a request. We want a tour de Kenya. A tour of Kenya.
Yes.
Rwanda have their tour.
Yes.
Tour de France is there, but we want a tour of Kenya.
We're already on that, working towards it.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So right now, it's time for us we'll be taking a break, and we'll be coming back with a different conversation. Then, now, we move over to where we've got the World Accreditation Celebrations Day. This is happening in Nairobi, where Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano is the chief guest. And on stage speaking now is the CEO of the ICT Authority, Stanley Kamungunya. So let's move over to that event.
These challenges, it will be critical that all industry stakeholders collaborate towards not only utilizing technology for accreditation purposes, but also ensuring that our systems or our processes have inbuilt competency and quality in order to ensure that we consistently adhere to the specified standards of quality. For us at the ICT Authority, as I've mentioned, we do undertake accreditation of ICT suppliers as a means of validating their competency and capacity. And we have gone all out to set various standards for the ICT sector, all the way from data center operations, and now we are adopting what we are calling the cloud-first and mobile-first strategies, and we're already continuing to build a number of standards which we then evaluate the people who are players in that sector. And this is all geared towards ensuring that the services and the products in the area of ICT remain of high quality, so that then even as our citizens consume these services, they can be assured of their quality, and we also deploy services in a sustainable manner. In some instances, a number of stakeholders actually feel like the process of accreditation stifles innovation. But we look at it differently, because we believe that this process, when well managed and everybody understands what the end game is and what their role is, can be able to actually drive innovation and break the barriers of innovation, because we are going to foster a culture of safe innovations across the industry. We're also going to build confidence for ICT innovations when our citizens and consumers know that the people who are bringing forth these innovations have actually gone through a process of accreditation. Therefore, we know that this process, not only in the ICT sector but across all sectors, will enable us to foster safe innovation. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is our belief that together we can strive towards enhanced service delivery for our citizens. We can strive towards standardizing processes and systems for delivery of service, and also driving the country's competitiveness in order for us to continue attracting the investments that we hope to attract, not only in the digital space, but across all sectors.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Hata akifufuliwa atakuwa na msaada gani? Manake wakati huo atakuwa hawezi kusema wala kutamka lolote.
Utakishuku kwa wewe ndio ulisika na kifo chake, utajitetea vipi? Ati nini? Wasemaje? Ungetia bidii, mikakati, juhudi kwa Nuru.
Makarembo. Kwa namtaka Nuru.
Ana nini chako? Wamdai?
Kila nikutazama hapo moyo wangu unajawa na furaha sana. Lakini unapotoweka tu katika mboni zangu ni karaha ndizo zinazonitawala. Nipende basi.
Kuna nini mizimuni? Naenda kushuhudia ni nani atakayechaguliwa kuwa kiongozi kati yako na ndugu yako.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who's the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevakishwa. Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 10th day of June 2024. It is a day when from the news items that we're taking a look at, number one, public hearings on the finance bill happening at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, bubble presentations or memoranda that are being presented by members of the public on the finance bill, a pre-budget media briefing by PKF, live at the Serena. The Kenya National Accreditation Service is having the World Accreditation Celebrations Day taking place today, and also the launch of the Butere Girls High School Digital Hub, and this is being presided over by First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto. So part of the stories that we are keeping tabs on today. And also later we are expecting to be joined by the project manager of Douala 2024. Douala are hosting the 23rd edition of the Senior African Athletics Championships from the 1st to the 26th of June. Jean Kelakota is a project manager. We hope to get him via Zoom from Douala and have a conversation as Cameroon hosts Africa Senior Athletics Championships for the second time. The last time they did it was way back in 1996. So this is the 23rd edition. And can we see Kenya, who fully dominated this, go over with it? Well, time for us to have a conversation. And for many Kenyans, the celebrations in the world of football came from the under-17 girls winning 3-0 against Burundi in Addis Ababa at the Abebe Bikila Stadium. This is in the first leg of qualifying for the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. This is the final round of qualifying. 3 nations are going to represent the continent. You've got either Zambia or Morocco, Kenya, Burundi, and Nigeria are also in that mix, and they're fighting for a slot. Which 3 nations will be there? Well, here are the highlights of that game, just in case you missed it, because I know for a lot of Kenyans, huge celebrations. Well, the highlights of Junior Starlets against Burundi, winning by 3-0. And let's get down to break this down. And in studio with me, two gentlemen. They've always been part of coverage of the FKF Premier League and other events. On my immediate left, Michael Barnabe, and on my far left, Gregory Mlemi. Quickly, let me start with you, Michael. Your take on the performance of the under-17 girls, and having played at Abebe Bikila, playing in Ethiopia is quite tough, especially because of the altitude. We're talking about over 2,000 meters above sea level. Nairobi, we are just at 1,700.
Yeah. Honestly, first of all, let me say congratulations to the girls and the entire technical bench, because they did it. And let me say, Dominican Republic, here we come. We've already won this. I think it was, let me say, a comfortable win, because we fought, we prepared well. I think the results we are seeing is from good and better preparation that we had, the ladies. We deserved it. We deserve to go. We deserve to represent Africa. And I think we'll be among the three teams. And they played a really good football.
Well, just before we move on to Greg, our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mora. Gregory. Having watched them play against Ethiopia, now here we see them play against Burundi. What is it that Mildred Cheche, the coach of the team, has been doing to make sure that these young girls tick?
First of all, not conceding. It's something that she instilled discipline on, the defensive side of it. Against Ethiopia in the first leg, drawing 0-0 at the Abebe Stadium. That was something that gave the girls morale. And then when they came back home, I remember I attended the match. It was all about sitting back and waiting for the Ethiopians in the first 10 minutes, see what they can do, then start hitting them, change of approach, and it really worked for them. And I believe that is the same approach they used against Burundi. And of course, it's rare our national team to concede at any level. And this is the first time I'm watching a team play 3 matches without conceding, and 2 matches away from home. And that is something that we can give Mildred Cheche and her technical bench uploads, because you don't see that anywhere in Kenya. We always cry about the stars, the starlets, and everyone. But this one, I think it has ticked the right box, and I believe that on 16th, they are going to see the job through.
Well, on the 16th, that is Sunday, I'm sure everyone will be there. Like they say, success has got very many fathers. So I know everyone will be there, but we want to see them grow. And next, what's next for them? Because on the brink of qualification for the Under-17 World Cup, and we do not want this generation to be forgotten like the Tanzanian. TZ qualified for this Under-17 World Cup, the last edition. They did qualify, but no one talks about it.
Yeah, because what do I say? It's football. They presented, yes, but did nothing. The results were not, they were surprising anyway. But I think we should not be comfortable. Going forward in the attack in the final third of the pitch, Madam Cheche should do a lot, because we lost a lot of chances. Could have scored more than 5 goals, more than 6, and this is what might punish us even in the World Cup.
How do you prepare them for this level of competition? Because I know I've met players who've gone to the AFCON, and when the anthem is played, they realize this is real. This is real.
Yeah.
And the stage fright hits.
Yeah. Okay.
And they tend to freeze for the first half of that game. Later, you start seeing something else.
Are you talking about Tunisia 2004?
And also,
it happened.
And also the match against the opening match against Algeria the AFCON 2019. Yes, the players froze after the anthem was played, because you realize this is real.
Rohoju wasn't there anymore. But I think. First of all, they should see this fixture done, because we've seen football change at times. You look at Burundi as a team that smashed Djibouti 24-0.
25-0.
Actually, it was 25.
Yeah, 18-0 and 7-0.
That's too much. That tells you that these girls are capable of scoring goals at any level. And I think tactically, we just got better of them in Ethiopia, and I believe that coming at home, there's always that pressure that also falls with fans in the stadium. I watched against Ethiopia, the Ethiopia girls. I could see there were jitters, especially in the beginning of the match, and that really caused a lot of anxiety even with the fans. But for the preparations, I think after the match against Ethiopia, Coach Cheche said they were going to collaborate with the Kenya Secondary School Sports Association to see if they can actually have these girls train longer and have them in camp during the required period of time, because we find that most of these girls are still in high school. Some of them are sitting for the exams, and to see the focus might be in the exams and some not really in the game. And this being an examinable curriculum in the current curriculum sports, I think this is a perfect opportunity for the girls to realize that they can do something better with this football they're playing at the moment. And through the collaboration between the sports association, the Kenya Secondary School Sports Association, and of course the Football Kenya Federation, I believe they can come up with something that can make a solid team, because going to the World Cup is not just going to participate. I know there'll be very little expectations, but you never know. At junior levels, we've seen African teams shine. Yeah. And this might just be the perfect opportunity for Kenya to announce itself in the global stage via football.
I think we still have a chance. We still have also a long way to go. But I also urge from the starlets, the seniors, the technical benches to collaborate, to work together, so that what we are seeing right now can also be used tomorrow, can also be disseminated even to the most juniors down there, because this is a very good future, and we are expecting a lot from the ladies' side.
Okay, so much expectation because there is a lot that's going to come through from this side. Now let's move on to the men's side, and I will have at one point to quote Coach Engin Firat verbatim. Kenya played against Burundi, and that match ended 1-1. And Duke Abuya, he scored in the 72nd minute of the game. And then Abdallah Sudi, a name that most people would think is actually from Kenya, trying to do that. But let's go through this game. Gregory, I'll start. The first half hour. I mean, the first few minutes, Burundi had it, then about 4 or 5 chances lost by the Harambee Stars.
Of course, it's always been a problem. I remember the last time we were here, we were talking about Harambee Stars wasting chances. I think it was after they lost against Gabon. And it's something that has always been a trend with the Harambee Stars, whereby they don't settle into the match early. And it's a problem, because you look at Group F, you look at the teams that are there. They're teams that have, some of them are seasonal participants in the Cup of Nations. Cote d'Ivoire played at the World Cup, I think thrice. Gambia just recently did very well in the Cup of Nations earlier on this year. So I think if Firat is not really a coach who is daring, because if I can remember, like the late Reinhard Fabisch, when things were not working, he had to shuffle things and not rely on the old guards. He made sure that he brought in players who are more hungry, and I don't think the Harambee Stars attack is hungry, and that is a fact.
No, but the whole thing is there is a whole change to the way this can be handled. When Reinhard Fabisch took over the Harambee Stars 97-98, one of the things that he actually did was simply say, I'm picking these camps, you put them into a camp. You can't do that because there's a 4-day rule.
Yes, there's a 4-day rule, but you look at it this way. We are not going to say that Firat should have done it that way. I'm looking at Uganda right now. They are incorporating some of the youngsters into the senior team, the national team. And that is something that we've seen. At least they picked a result. That they third also in their group. I think they're 4 teams with 6 points, which is, they've made it very open in the group. And for Harambee Stars, I'm looking at a team whereby right now we are talking about 5 new call-ups, late call-ups. I'm talking about David Okoth. I'm talking about David Ochencheche. I'm talking about Clifton Miheso, Clyde Senaji, Makwata. Actually, now we are talking about 6.
And
what does that tell you?
Questions. What is going on behind curtains? Because
no, but it has
players are even living without permissions. Others are just giving excuses. Others, I mean, no.
Okay, if I was a coach, if you leave the team and you're not injured, you just decide that you don't feel like traveling. Then,
but the problem is,
change of allegiance. I know is a challenge.
Joseph Okumu was injured.
Yes.
Eric Ouma was injured.
And we knew it.
Clyde Senaji, not Clyde Senaji, Collins Chichenje, injured. 3 top players who've been very instrumental under Firat. All of them injured, not fit to play for at least the next 1 or 2 months. But they're called up at the expense of players who are fit and, of course, actively playing.
We have players like Dennis Nganga. He stepped in last time.
Yeah, he played well.
Playing the qualifiers. He was just there. I mean, Okoth was there.
Okay, now let's talk about this moment in this game. Because to use the words of Engin Firat, there was a lot of controversy. Matasi is the fall guy anytime. Yeah. But Engin Firat, to use his words, he said, to use his words verbatim, he said that at this level, this is not what you do. Anyembe should have sent that ball either to the next village, this village next to the stadium. And he said at the highest level, the players kick the ball out of the stadium.
I'm the only one who's allowed to kick the ball out of the stadium.
Okay, yes.
But you see, Nyembe is not a natural centre-back. I might forgive him there. But then also, I look at the communication between the two. If at all they hadn't trained to play together for the match, then I might say that Nyembe was at fault for this. But then I also look at Matasi with all the experience he's had over the years. He's the guy who could have spread himself, made himself bigger for Sudi. I think it could have been even easier, harder for Sudi to find target in that situation. But then you look at that, wasn't there a centre-back on the bench? That's a question we should be asking ourselves.
But our problem has always been chances. We always complain about, we've conceded, and then we concede in the last minutes. I mean, are we not fit, for heaven's sake, to play for the 90 minutes?
You can be fit, but there is something else, mental. You can be very fit, but where is your mental strength?
The mental strength is a problem because you look at Qatar, we conceded that during the last 10 minutes of the game. Against Russia, we conceded during the exact minute Burundi beat us. Against Gabon, it was also the same, almost the same time. We
failing to take our chances. Even the first half, we had a lot of...
It boils down to the level of concentration. And most of coaches whom I've interviewed, even in different platforms, always tell me that Kenya has a problem with concentration. I know it's an African problem, but then Kenya, we've not worked on that.
But
and
again,
you see these players, especially these players who play in Europe, these players who've been exposed to other leagues, are the players who should take the mantle during those crucial moments and tell the younger guys, look here, this is what we're supposed to do during this period. I don't think it's happening.
I always ask, should Matasi play?
That is a question that will be answered tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
We have three goalkeepers.
Because it will be answered tomorrow. I know Engin Firat has mentioned previously because...
He said, what seems to be so easy is very difficult in Kenya. I think those are his words.
Those are the words, yes.
But if someone makes a mistake...
We will move on to that. We will find out tomorrow what is in the mind of Engin Firat, because Kenyans are paying for the blood of Matasi, left, right, center. But against Cote d'Ivoire, 4 p.m. So we'll be taking that game tomorrow live on KBC Channel 1, and also another 8 radio stations will be broadcasting that match. So 4 p.m. Remember, this is your True Sports partner. Moving on, Cote d'Ivoire 1-0 winners over Gabon and Gabon, and then Gambia. Slamming the Seychelles 5-1.
McKinstry, the immediate former Gor Mahia coach, in his first match beating Seychelles, who I believe are the lowest ranked country in the group by 5-1. For Cote d'Ivoire, look at that match between Cote d'Ivoire and Gabon. I think it's all about who takes number 1 and number 2. As it stands, because you look at Gabon, I think they've revitalized their squad. It's a fresher squad, and you look at the players, they are more hungry. They went under a very bad period, especially after hosting the Cup of Nations. They've come up really, really well, and losing 1-0 to Cote d'Ivoire, I think, to me, is something that can give them motivation. And I look at Cote d'Ivoire at the moment. This is a team that I don't know who's going to stop them, because they look so solid, they look fluid, and they're really, really dangerous. And I don't know what they have in store for us. You said we'll have these answers tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Yeah.
Well, do we really have...
No, the answers will be here.
Predict this match.
Okay. I have not asked anyone to predict how this one is going to go down, but already we can see that Cote d'Ivoire, group favorites in Group F, as they, contest, because it's only 9 teams, the top teams that automatically qualify, then the 4 second-placed teams, the best 4, go into an intercontinental playoff, and that is why it's being said that Africa probably would have 9.5 teams. At the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Let's move on now to Group A. And Group A, we've got Guinea-Bissau. They are there, and they already have given themselves Djibouti, holding Ethiopia to a 1-1 draw last night. And 2 other matches, Burkina Faso against Sierra Leone is going to be played today. Guinea-Bissau and Egypt. Which way for this group? Because Egypt look like the favorites.
9 points already.
9 points already.
Yeah.
But it is that result, Djibouti, Ethiopia, that changed everything.
People don't realize that Djibouti have just gone back to the drawing board and they're making their league.
Artar Sola.
Artar Sola. Of course, you look at those things. They might not seem to be effective, but you look at Djibouti pulling a result against Ethiopia. I was talking to someone yesterday. I said that it was sort of a derby. Because Djibouti is a breakaway from Ethiopia. So you look at how...
Actually, everything by sea that goes into Ethiopia goes through Djibouti.
To me, it was a very positive result, and you see even how they've been playing over the years. The national team is not as bad as it was. I remember they lost 4-1 to Algeria last time, and people were like, Djibouti got a goal in Algiers? How? So that tells you there's something cooking there. It might not happen now, but it's coming up.
They are just, they know what they're doing. They're preparing for some years to come, and they are very patient. That is the good thing with them. We lose this one, but let's cook. Let's continue cooking. I think they're heading in the right direction.
So let's continue. Take a look at this. Guinea-Bissau, Egypt, and Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone. Any of these teams that could provide a shock to the Pharaohs?
Yeah, sure. By Guinea-Bissau, definitely, I think we still have a lot of matches to play, and I think Guinea-Bissau is also another favorite to try and get the 3rd or second position. I think Egypt definitely, and then probably Guinea-Bissau, 2 of them.
All right, so there you've had it. And now let's move on to Group B, because this is where you've got Sudan, Mauritania, you've got Senegal, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And yeah,
it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. But here's the story. It's not that Senegal are up there. It's that Sudan, with all the wrong things being told in the news, the fight between, the armed forces and the RSF, and actually their clubs having to use Tanzania as a home ground. Here, they are giving a good account of themselves.
Sure. And you look at that group, Senegal, of course, were leading the group. Sudan, I think maybe it's a blessing in these guys. They're not playing at home, 2nd, and DR Congo 3rd. This is a group I can say you expect anything to happen. But if you ask me, I'll say that Sudan will fizzle along the way. Because they'll still be visiting the likes of Senegal and DR Congo away.
They're yet to play.
Yeah, so to me, DR Congo and Senegal are teams to watch in this one, because a point separates them, and you look at them. DR Congo last time in the Cup of Nations, we saw what they were capable of doing, and they might just continue the trend.
Yeah, I think they're just motivated. They know that we don't have our own home right now. So let's do it for our country. Let's do it for our people. And I think that is what they are using. And they might surprise, but I don't see them finishing 2nd, probably 3rd or 4th.
Well, for Mauritania, they're trying to be the next force in African football, but is this where they really would test themselves from what we saw at the AFCON?
Yeah, I think what we saw from Mauritania is that they used a lot of home-based players during the Cup of Nations. And we talked about some of the players here, and they were like, these boys can give a good account of themselves. And losing 1-0 to Senegal is a result that I can say. Though they know each other, the same dialect and everything, they are a team you can say they are coming up really well. Remember, we talked about their goalkeeper, the Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see, they gave us memories, and also they're giving us memories, because in any other day, you could expect Senegal to wipe them.
But again, playing a team that does not really turn up when it comes to those international, tournaments, a team that is not known actually, like Mauritania. It's always hard for such big giants to turn up against them. You don't really know the formation, how they play, how their mental strength is, and so sometimes they want to shine with you, and that's why you see that small margin, just a 1-0 or 2-1, and it's always the case when you're facing small clubs. Remember Russia in the World Cup? Or what did they do? They surprised a lot of
when they were the host. Yes,
yeah, they did it.
All right, so let's move on now to one group where there is a very heavy conversation. We are talking about Group C. Who thought that the Super Eagles of Nigeria would be struggling?
It's a lot of surprises.
Look, Nigeria.
It's Michael's team. He should tell us what's happening there.
No, we'll be coming to you, Michael. But let's just take a look, simply point out the results. Nigeria, 3 draws.
Yes.
So far, from the 3 matches that they played. The team that is at the top is Lesotho.
That's what Lesotho, I think.
Lesotho are in that group. Rwanda are second, Benin are second, and South Africa have 4 points. Zimbabwe are bottom. But it is the fact that, okay, Nigeria, South Africa, it ended in a draw.
Yes.
But the whole story here is Nigeria are 5th.
Yes.
But we'll start with you.
Yeah.
What is it with the Super Eagles?
I think sometimes you just feel like, we are there, we are here, we are going to do it. So you just relax and you get those surprises. But I think they have not been clinical so far, and they have that thing that we are Nigeria, we have names, we have players. But again, they are also in a transition. Nigeria, they don't have the big players that we used to know that used to turn up. And a lot has changed in this national team football because some of these players no longer play for the badge, and they're just there to get those allowances and leave. And that is the problem. That is what we are always talking about, because you cannot explain how you draw 3 matches you're trying to qualify. And
Nigeria did.
Nigeria have done so, Gregory.
They are big,
but this group, let's talk about Rwanda, Benin, and South Africa. These are the other sides. They're all on 4 points.
Yes.
Lesotho have got 5.
Lesotho had got. This is a very tough group, but I tend to look at South Africa.
It's already defined.
South Africa is a team that can pull a results, and they have a very good manager. And you look at the players in the South African team, the players whom we've even watched in the Cup of Nations, players who turned up to the occasion, the likes of...
Went all the way to the semis.
Yeah, all the way to the semis. But I'm looking at this group, Lesotho, giving a good account of themselves, 5 points, one ahead of both Benin, South Africa, and Nigeria. But there's something Michael has said about Nigeria, that they no longer have big names. They have very big names. They have the African Player of the Year in Osimhen. They have Europa League hat-trick goal scorer, Mola Lukman. They have Victor Boniface, top scorer in the Bundesliga.
Those are big names.
Those are big names in Africa. Tell me any other African player who's won a league this season. You see, you look at that, you're like Nigeria, the likes of Ekong, a very good
Truce Ekong, yes.
Yeah, Truce Ekong. You look at their goalkeeper who plays down south, a winner in the Nedbank Cup just the other day. So you don't tell me that Nigeria lacks big names.
You know what he wants? You know what he wants? He wants Sunday Olise back.
And the coach needed
I need George big names. He wants Daniel Amokachi. He wants
big names on the pitch.
Okechuku.
Not by names.
And Okocha.
He wants Okocha.
No, that won't happen.
No, it has changed.
It has changed.
Michael, on this one,
thank you for at least mentioning it.
Because we've mentioned, because the names that he's mentioning are things you just can't take away. It's a reality.
These guys are just big on paper.
The only thing...
They're just big on paper.
No.
Osimhen, what is he doing even for his club? I mean, no.
Napoli had their... Okay, the fact is, he doesn't play alone, but they've had it wrong.
Yeah.
You have somebody winning the Conference League,
the Bundesliga.
Then you have somebody winning the Bundesliga.
Of course, the Nedbank Cup in South Africa.
Then go to Scotland.
Yeah.
The superstar thing has just entered their heads,
and they have a defender
not able to play. They're just there.
Plays in Tanzania.
That is the problem.
Yeah. But you look at Benin also, very good young players coming up really well, playing in the French league. if Nigeria just don't get it right in time, then they must, they like those late runs. The way they did in 1998, they had to wait till the last match to beat Harambee Stars.
These comebacks.
Yeah, it's really, it might not favor them this time round. Yeah.
Sure. Well, there's no room for error. And so Benin, Rwanda actually all giving a good account of themselves. Now, let's move on. Group D. Now, Cameroon. They won their last encounter, match day 3, and they won 4-1 against Cape Verde. But it is in the background of what is everything wrong with African football.
What seems to be very easy in Africa is very difficult. Both Kenya and Cameroon.
we tend to have the same thing. So the battle between the federation led by Eto'o and the sports minister eventually, but the players decided to salvage this. 7 points tied with Libya.
I think they might progress, but I think they have to sort their issues. And their issues are not only between the players; they are just from the technical and the ministry. So whenever
the players don't even have a problem; it's the people above the players who have the problem.
Whenever the atmosphere is not favorable, then definitely nothing will happen on the pitch, and this struggling should be settled early enough. Because if they head to the World Cup with the same, they'll be eliminated in the group stages.
I think, to me, Cameroon being a footballing nation, to them, whatever, the wrangles don't really matter, but the player unity. And I'm so happy for someone like Abubakar scoring a brace on the day. That shows you that they still have a unity.
Actually, there it is on the screen, a penalty goal.
In a way, they are also guessing it might not take long, because the unity of the players also depends on what is happening.
But the players, something funny, even in the normal setup, whereby players decide to do something, because they also know that if they perform well, this is also an off-season whereby many scouts are also watching these qualifiers. Someone might get a move, everyone is looking at Saudi Arabia, everywhere else. But then I look at Cape Verde. We talked about it here in January and February when they were playing the Cup of Nations. You can't have 10, 34-year-olds and expect to perform at the top level on a day-to-day basis. It won't happen.
10, 34-year-olds.
10, 34-year-olds.
You know that is 340 years. Even the US has not been independent for that long.
You look at that team has been together since 2004. They played Harambee Stars that went to the Cup of Nations in Tunisia. Most of the players were still retained to the 2023 Cup of Nations. It's something that they also need to look at
Let's talk about
is right.
Let's talk about let's keep that. But there is one team I want to speak about: Libya.
Wow.
They're
also on 7 points.
They are turning up. I think these are some of the teams that we've never expected.
You credit the league. Their league is really strong.
Everything starts from the league. And when you see them, they don't have big names playing outside the country, but they're using whatever they have.
They've localized everything. They're doing the way Egypt is doing. You find that most of the clubs in Libya, the top 2 clubs are ever in the Confederations Cup. And at one time, Al Ahly participated in the Champions League. So you look at that, and there's that consistency whereby they have a unit that starts from home and all the way to the qualifiers. They have a team, not names.
Wow, very important that you mentioned that. And so the next encounters for these two sides are moving on to match day 4, and because that's where we are now. Tomorrow, Mauritius play against Eswatini. Now that's at 4 p.m. Cabo Verde will be hosting Libya, and Angola will be playing against Cameroon at 10 p.m. Moving on to Group E, because this is one that has got fewer teams. Eritrea, our friends, they decided to withdraw from the competition at the last minute. So that left 5 teams. And so at the moment, Morocco, who will be in action against Congo-Brazzaville tomorrow at 7 p.m. Zambia against Tanzania. What are the chances, for example, where would you place TZ and Zambia in this group?
I think Tanzania has a chance to progress. We pray for them, they are our neighbors. But again, on the international scene, they have a good league, they are doing well. But again, they don't have as well many players experienced, playing outside, and I think that might tie them in a way. But the national team, the preparations always start from the league, and that I think they got it right. And we don't expect them to be better or to do good maybe this time. But moving forward, I think they might do well. They might finish second or even third in that group.
And in this case for Morocco, because it's going to be a little bit of a haphazard group,
yes.
Because of the 5 matches, you find that a team may not be playing. Yeah. Because they're odd-numbered teams.
It's not easy participating.
But for Morocco, what needs to be done? Because we saw them exposed at the Cup of Nations after their exploits in Qatar.
Yeah, and they also had to fight to beat Zambia the other day. So I think this is a group whereby any team will be fancying their chances. I'm looking at Zambia. They're bringing up a very good unit. Avram Grant has done a great job in solidifying this team. But for Morocco, I think they need to realize that they got very few chances, in that they'll not depend on Eritrea's points to progress in any of this. So they have to make sure that they win and win convincingly. And I'm looking at them playing against, I think they played Tanzania in Dar es Salaam. Yeah, so them hosting Tanzania and also going away to Zambia, especially at the Ndola Stadium, it will be very difficult for them because we know Zambia are very good at home. Against Tanzania, I don't think, you still talked about Tanzania finishing third. Maybe they can, but I don't think Tanzania is that strong the way it used to be.
Okay, so TZ, we know that what's the risk exposure that TZ has? Because we have seen the influx of foreign players, Simba, Yanga, Azam.
You look at
because those are the 3 clubs that are right at the top for them.
We are talking about Tanzanian league being flashy. It has money. It has these foreign players. But then you look at how much local talent is coming out of the leagues. You're like, no. That's why they had to go and look for a boy in Leicester City. Go to Anderlecht to look for somebody. Yeah. You look at that, you're like, yes.
They don't. At the AFCON, we saw somebody we had never seen.
Yeah, the boy who played 26 minutes.
And his first contact with the ball was a throw-in.
And that's how he got substituted by Adel Amrouche, and that was it. So you look at Tanzania, they are in big problems. I don't think they have what it takes to maybe even make the playoffs.
We're better than them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're better than them. Everyone wants to be better than them, but we face Cote d'Ivoire tomorrow, and that's when we shall know how really good we can be. Well,
at least you have a real competitor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there are teams with real competitors. Algeria having to prove themselves. You know, after winning the African Championship, they've had a torrid time. At the moment, they've lost 1 match, but you see, Guinea is also there, Uganda, and then Mozambique. 4 teams on 6 points. It's just goal difference that is separating them. Then at the bottom, you've got Botswana and Somalia. Everyone thought Somalia would be whipped left, right, center, but they're giving a good account of themselves. I mean, they held out against Mozambique. They lost 2-1. But this group has just been thrown wide open.
Something funny, Mozambique has a 0 goal difference like some other team in the Premier League. But they are still within touching distance. I'm looking at this
Which
group.
Premier League? FKF Premier League?
Of course, FKF Premier League, there are so many negatives. I'm talking about the just concluded English Premier League. But looking at this group, Algeria, 6 points. Guinea, second. 6 points. I'm looking at Uganda, 6 points. Mozambique, 6 points. This one is where you want a team to use their home advantage. Algeria versus Guinea the other day. We saw what happened. Guinea are very good, and you look at them, they have that experience that can help them come through. But I'm looking at Uganda also. We've talked about the incorporation of the young upcoming players and the experience. You see, I'll pick an example of Mutiaba, who last year played here during the Sekafa Sekafa Under-18 Championships. He's now a starter in that Ugandan team.
Yes.
And that should send a statement to all these teams that transition does not just occur overnight. It's something that is a process, and that process means that getting these boys into play. I know we shall talk about that during the Harambee Stars period, but you look at Uganda at 6 points, they'll always be there because right now, even you look at FIFA rankings, they've never dropped to 100 for a decade. It means that the transition has been smooth. As much as the likes of Emmanuel Okwi are still being called up to the national team, but you look at the young boys, you talked about the likes of Okello. Okello was a youngster who's been there and now at KCCA. I don't know if he's playing at Vipers or where, but he's a player who rose from the youth ranks. He's now a regular starter in the national team, and that is something that we can also emulate. So Uganda have a realistic chance in this group.
And that is why...
Let's talk about... Yeah, okay. So they have a realistic chance. What about Algeria? What's their revival mode? Because everyone... So, it was a bit shocking to see them eliminated at the group stage of an AFCON.
Did they even score a goal?
No, they didn't score.
And you can imagine the kind of talent they have, Slimani and the likes.
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes in football it happens. As a coach, I understand where they're coming from. And sometimes you just sit down and realize, by the way, what is wrong, what is going wrong. And literally there's nothing wrong, because Algeria, they've been there, they've been doing good. They have a force in the forward side. And I feel like it's just not their time. But again, if it is now consistent, as we say...
So their time is already gone. They should leave football before the football leaves them.
No, they can't. They cannot leave football. Sometimes it happens. It happens. And I feel you just need to sit down and regroup again and try to start over. And it will happen. It will bear some fruits.
So let's look at the next encounters here, and especially, by the way, for Uganda, eventually, Gregory, when you play at home again, what's the whole feeling that the reaction that you've seen from west of the border?
First of all, Uganda have the home crowd, and that's something that can drive them to play at crazy levels. Look at the Nambole Stadium, newly renovated, state of art. They got everything to their advantage.
What's on your screen at the moment is a Nambole Stadium.
Yes. I was there like 4 years ago. This wasn't the Nambole. Look at that. And look at the crowd. Algeria are coming here. And you look at how, there's nothing as good as, it's like when you buy your son or daughter new pair of shoes or a shirt. They wear it with pride. And I'm sure against Algeria, is it today?
Tonight, 7 p.m.
Yes, 7 p.m. They'll use that to their advantage. Trust you me, Algeria is going to get whipped in Kampala.
According to this group, this is where you tell your players, come on guys, we have to win our home matches. All our home matches we should win.
That's it.
But sometimes I say, as a coach, from where I sit, sometimes fans are just, let me say zero. I mean, as a player, it has to come from you. That with or without the fans, I have to do this. The self-motivation. Well, the noise, okay.
He's talking like from Zedekiah Otieno Zico's point of view, that fans don't really matter.
100%. Fans
no, everyone says the 13th man.
Yes.
Okay, let's argue this. Let's argue this. Anytime you see, for example, Cote d'Ivoire playing Abidjan or Yamoussoukro, and you see these players, and they go and
embrace the fans.
I mean, this is what you see.
Look at Adingra when he scored the goal that took them to the final of the Cup of Nations. You could see the adrenaline, the pandemonium in the stadium. You can't say that fans don't play a part. Tonight, I'll give you a call after Algeria plays Uganda and tell you the fans.
Okay, I'm joining that conference call. I'm joining. I'm the third member of that call.
I'll show you. I'll tell you.
Yes. So that game is on tonight. Somalia against Botswana. And Guinea against Mozambique. This is because these are the matches. So Somalia, Botswana is dead rubber.
Yeah, that's the
so Guinea, Mozambique. Could this change the face of this group?
Exactly, because Guinea playing at home. You look at them; they have a very, very, very good squad, experienced players. And I look at Mozambique. We saw them at the Cup of Nations. They also had some old guards. And I think playing in West Africa is always one of the most difficult tasks for any team from sub-Saharan Africa. You go there, you're just intimidated. First by the fans that Michael says here don't really play part. You went to, which country did you go to, whereby you were driving on like 25 kilometers, and it seems a short distance, but to you it was like 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you look at that. Was it Nigeria, when we played Nigeria, when we drew 1-1? And then all those tactics, you're intimidated and all those things. So I think Guinea here might just edge Mozambique by the fact that they are at home. And you see, Guinea is a country that is led by, it's a military state. So you look at that, everything just plays to their advantage, the restrictions and everything. Guinea might just fancy their chances to go top of the group tonight.
All right, so you have Group H. This is where you've got Tunisia, held to a barren draw by Namibia last night. odd result.
It's a surprise. It's a surprise.
And guess who's second in that group? Namibia. 8 points.
Namibia, the so-called small dogs. I mean, these guys just turn up and you wonder whatever is motivating them. But I've seen it in the dressing room. You just have to tell them that look, boys, let's not talk tactics too much. Just know what is bringing you here, and just know that people are watching. Scouts are watching. So go give it all. It's not all about how good you know SG control. I don't know how shooting.
Control is very important, and that's.
I know I'm not disputing it, but again, as a coach, you just have to
I know the kind of motivation
about,
the way Fire did for Cote d'Ivoire during the Cup of Nations.
It's not more of tactics. It's more of kujiamini. Do what you can do best.
Okay. Well, so Giamini, believe in yourself. Well, tonight Equatorial Guinea play against Malawi. Now, Equatorial Guinea, they have got all sorts of problems. First of all, Emiliano Nsue plays 43 times for the country, and he was not even eligible to play for them.
How should we blame here? Let's leave the...
No, let's call it impunity by the Equatorial Guinean Football Federation.
Goodness.
I think I'll blame...
They've just been left out of sorts because the two matches that they had picked points from, they've lost them.
When these players are registered in the TMS, they're registered and with all their details.
Yes.
Whose error is that? I think it's the federation.
No, the transfer of allegiance. Because this is the second time he's being sanctioned. He was sanctioned in 2013 for illegally playing for Equatorial Guinea.
And then he's been playing FIFA.
Then
he's been playing FIFA.
Then he has played 43 matches after that.
Who okays that this player is eligible to play?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. He's been playing FIFA sanctioned matches from 2014.
From 20, yes.
FIFA.
Yeah.
It is the federation which has been calling. Actually, he was in camp.
You see, when you tell the federation, let's say right now, I'm told, I'm given a call by Engin Firat to go and play in midfield for Harambee Stars. I'll go.
Because you know everything has been taken care
of. Yes.
Your details.
Yes.
But the change of allegiance wasn't handled because we've suffered that.
Yes.
Harambee Stars, Nost is one case.
Nost is one case.
Yeah. I think and Vries.
Yeah. And you look at that, it's something that we can say falls to the federation in that.
Anyway, but for Equatorial Guinea, they had everything going for them with the exception of this crazy case of Emiliano Nsue, which has turned out to be.
And psychologically, it's going to really damage. Of course, the reputation is already damaged. Of course, the way they perform, I don't think they'll perform as they were previously with such cases, because you find someone like Nsue being the captain, he was the leader from the front, and everyone was talking about him being the top scorer at the Cup of Nations. But this one will hit them hard because they have to recover. That's a void that is already there. And it needs to be filled.
Should they strip him off?
No, I mean, he's suspended for 6 months.
For 6 months.
Nothing. Anyway, so who's going with this? Tunisia or Namibia?
Tunisia should see this one because you look at the experience they have. Played a couple of. Look at how they performed in Qatar. Yes, you look at that team. That is a team that knows what it takes to qualify for a World Cup. For Namibia, they might be fighting for maybe the scraps to see if they can be one of the 4 teams in the playoffs.
Okay, finally, the team with names that people can't pronounce: Madagascar, Group I.
Manana. Yeah.
Then you've got Comoros. They've got 6 points. Ghana have got 6 points. I mean, it's. Which wave for Group I, the final one here?
Ghana, they'll take it. I think always, once big, always big, and they'll just call themselves for a meeting and they'll sort things out, and they'll take the group. It's a no-brainer.
So their next match is against the Central African Republic. No pushovers here, Central African Republic.
Yeah, they beat Chad 1-0 in the last match day. You say that Ghana no-brainer. I think Ghana is a house of cards. It's a very confused place. And you look at them, even I talk to journalists in Ghana, they're like, now, contrary to what you are talking about, Nigeria with the names, Ghana has all the names.
Yes.
But when it comes down to paper, it's not. I know the other day they won. Was it 2-1?
They won 2-1. I mean, it was a 94th minute goal by
Jordan Ayew. You look at Ghana, they don't have that. If Kudus doesn't turn up, nobody does. And that is a fact. Leave alone the Ayew brothers and everyone else.
I'm just checking.
And you look at Ghana, they don't have that spine. And it's something that has already affected them, even in the last Cup of Nations, whereby they were really bashed by even the local journalists. And even when they went home, nobody really wanted to talk about the Black Stars. So here, any team that plays Ghana, and I know they beat Madagascar, but then look at how they've been performing recently. It will really be a tough group.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So either way, Madagascar, Mali, who's taking that one?
Mali, I think.
Okay. Then we've got Chad, Comoros.
Chad, Comoros. Chad, I think, can redeem themselves. Losing 1-0 to Central Africa wasn't really bad. Yeah.
Let's watch Comoros. We know what they did to us.
Yeah. I look at Comoros, but then you look at how they've been performing lately, not really as they were 2 years ago.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Gregory Mulemi, he's got the red jersey, and we've got Michael Barnabe here. And it's the qualification for the FIFA 2026 World Cup tomorrow, 4 p.m., Kenya versus Cote d'Ivoire, live from the Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe, Malawi. Time for me to leave, but as we do that, there's a launch of the Butere Girls High School Digital Hub. It is happening right now, and the chief guest is the First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto. But speaking right now is the Cabinet Secretary for Information Communications and the Digital Economy, the Honorable Eliud Owalo. Well, let's listen in as this happens. Have a good day. Our sign language interpreter has been Lucy Moura.
Passport online. This is again transformational because it will largely enhance the level of efficiency and effectiveness of service delivery to the wider Kenyan public. But while still on literacy, again, let me mention that as at 30th October last year, His Excellency the President opened the first Kenya Open University, which is domiciled at the Konza Technopolis. The import of this is that you can now log into the university online, as opposed to having to physically be confined to the four walls of a classroom. You are able to log onto the open program at the Konza Technopolis. That's a partnership between our ministry and the Ministry of Education to pursue higher education. This again will help us drastically reduce the cost of education, because education, the President has said many a time, is the greatest equalizer. We have had in our history instances where very bright students fail to make it to university because of lack of fees. We want to make education affordable under this government of Dr. William Samoei Ruto to facilitate inclusivity in pursuit of higher education. We don't want any Kenyan to be left behind just because of the challenge of lack of fees. That is another major intervention. So we'll continue with this journey, High Excellency. Another fundamental thing we are doing is to roll out fiber, 100,000 kilometers of fiber. We are going to take this all over the country. As we speak, we have changed the model of rolling out the fiber. As opposed to digging the trenches down there to roll out the fiber, we are now going to use the Kenya Power electricity transmission lines to help us take fiber connectivity to all parts of the country. So wherever there is a meter, an electricity transformer, and there are 74,000 of them, we'll be able to terminate the fiber at the transformer. We will also, in equal measure, be able to connect internet everywhere, to schools, to markets, and all public institutions and the villages. We have a target of 25,000 of such Wi-Fi hotspots. So we are on the right trajectory, and I want to assure everybody that we are so determined, under the close guidance and supervision of His Excellency the President, to transform Kenya into a digital economy. If we pursue our goals and objectives to a logical conclusion, we will, in the not too distant future, be running a paperless government. Yeah? We will, in the not too distant future, be able to run a 24-hour economy. I want to encourage the young girls here today to take advantage of the computers that we have brought here today. I want to assure you that once we'll work with the school administration, once you enhance the infrastructure and get a much bigger computer hub, we will be back here with many more computers so that you have enough computers for all the students here to acquire digital skilling from first form up to fourth form. With those many remarks, it is now my distinguished honor and privilege to take this opportunity to invite Her Excellency the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mama Rachel Ruto, to address the gathering. Please be upstanding.
Thank you, CS. We may be seated. Honorable Eliud Owalo, Cabinet Secretary for ICT and Digital Economy, Your Excellency Ayub Savula, Deputy Governor Kakamega County, Justice Helen Wasilwa, the Chairperson Butere Girls High School Board of Management, Mrs. Jennifer Omondi, Chief Principal Butere Girls High School, elected leaders present, national government and county government officials present, members of the clergy present, the Butere Girls fraternity and alumni. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And to the Butere Girls students, good morning. Good morning, beauties. Are you beautiful this morning? Thank you. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Ebu tusalimiane. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Nione mikono yenu. Asante sana. It always gives me much joy and pleasure to come back to Butere Girls. Each visit evokes fresh memories and reaffirms my appreciation to all the teachers and staff for the strong foundation they laid in our lives as alumni. We appreciate you and cannot say thank you enough. May God richly bless you. Our President, Dr. William Ruto, is a believer that alumni should always give back to their schools. When I mentioned today's visit to him, he asked me to convey his greetings and express his appreciation for the Jitume Digital Hub we will be launching today. On behalf of the Butere Girls High School and alumni, thank you, Waziri Eliud Owalo and your team from Konza City for setting up this digital hub that will enable our students to enhance their digital skills. The World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report of 2016 spelled out a challenging future for the digitally unfit and a great opportunity for the digitally savvy. Experts predicted that technology and automation would cause the global workforce to lose 2/3 of traditional white-collar jobs in the coming years. This forecast saw governments and organizations globally prepare for this digital revolution, particularly keen to ensure young people were ready for the job market and responsive to new job opportunities. The story of Anne Njoroge shows that technology can transform a young person's life. After completing her secondary school education, she was clear in her mind that she wanted to take a technology course, despite many people around her asking her to focus on other traditional courses. She enrolled for a diploma in business information systems at a college in Nairobi, and she excelled. Her passion for helping underprivileged young people access computers saw her set up the first computer lab in her former primary school on the slopes of Mount Kenya, the first in the region. Her love for how technology can cause social impact helped her join one of the advisory boards of the World Economic Forum in 2020 and attend the forum's top meetings in Switzerland. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda also captures the seriousness of digitization under its digital and creative economy pillar. The pillar is a key enabler of the other pillars, which are agriculture, micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, affordable housing, and universal health care. The Kenya National Digital Master Plan 2022 to 2027 details key interventions that will support the implementation of the vision behind the digital and creative economy pillar. 100,000 kilometers of high-speed fiber optic infrastructure will be installed to provide internet to all schools, government institutions and offices, health facilities, rural businesses, homes, and public spaces. Furthermore, The government plans to establish internet hotspots to serve innovators, youth and entrepreneurs, as well as 1,450 ward-based digital hubs for citizen digital literacy training, film production, and public access to government services. We thank our Cabinet Secretary for the implementation of the Jitume digital hubs across the country. Thank you, Waziri. With this one in Butere Girls School being the 83rd digital hub in Kenya. The Jitume project has seen over 28,000 users connected, over 8,700 courses enrolled, and 118 digital job platforms connected. The full implementation of the Jitume Digital Hubs project will spur a wave of digital jobs across the nation. As our president says, finya computer, upate dollar. I now wish to address the students, my dear daughters. The Bible in Proverbs 22:29 says, and I quote, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank." End of quote. This digital hub will provide you with relevant skills that will prepare you for the digital Kenya you will encounter after you finish your studies here. It will enable you to learn and enhance your computer skills for general knowledge or for those who will take computer studies as an examinable course. This hub will also spare your parents the resources they would have spent on computer course fees when you complete school. To the candidates, when your results are out, you will download them online and choose your university courses online through the Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Services. In your university and college studies, you will find that most of the course materials are available online. Assignments are taken online, and in some instances, examinations are taken on online platforms. You can now also enroll for fully online degrees at the Open University of Kenya or any other approved higher education institution in Kenya. Global universities are now offering online short courses, such as the University of Arizona's 16-unit courses, which the President launched during the 2022 Jamhuri Day celebrations. As you access digital platforms, I also urge you to take caution, especially around cybercrime, cybersecurity, and cyberbullying. Every student should exercise personal responsibility and self-discipline, ensuring that their computer time is productive and contributes to their desired future. Students, ladies and gentlemen, this Jitume Digital Hub will encourage the students here in Butere Girls to be diligent in pursuit of their education, such as those focusing on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and all other courses key to our nation's economic prosperity. As the country gears towards the fourth industrial revolution, we will need to be agile enough to ensure we take advantage of the emerging opportunities. We now live in the era of generative artificial intelligence, where technology enables our work and spurs efficiency. We need to be ready for this new era. I further want to enlist our students to join me in my goal to plant 500 million trees in support of the vision we were given by our president to plant and grow 15 billion trees by 2032. My office has partnered with the Manu Chandaria Foundation to establish a commercial tree nursery with the capacity to raise 100,000 tree seedlings here at Butere Girls. Thank you. This is for the commercial benefit of the school and the enhancement of the tree cover in the community. As I close, I leave you with the words of Malcolm X, who once said, and I quote, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it today." End of quote. Here is your chance, beauties, to prepare for the future. It is now my absolute pleasure to declare the Butere Girls High School Jitume Digital Hub officially launched. Thank you very much. and may God bless you. As I conclude, I once again really want to thank the CS for ICT, Honorable Owalo, for giving me this opportunity to be here today in my alma mater, a place that I cherish very much. Thank you, Chief Principal, and thank you for all the teachers. Coming back to Butere every time is very nostalgic to me, because I came to this school as a young girl of 13 years in 1982, did my O-levels, finished in 1985, and came back for A-levels, and I finished in 87, and I joined Kenyatta University. Looking at the privileges that you have today compared to opportunities for you beauties are great. I want to thank the teachers, I want to thank the principal and the Ministry of Education for supporting this school, because Butere Girls used to be one of the best performing schools for many years. But something happened along the way. But we thank God that when our new principal came, we have seen Butere Girls back in the map of Kenya in terms of performance. I want to thank you, Chief Principal, for your dedication, your time, your commitment, together with your teachers and your support staff. Thank you so much, students. I want to thank the leadership of the students, starting from the president to all the ones that help the other students, and to all you students who are determined to make a difference in your lives. I want to tell you something. As they say, education is the equalizer. As you are here, your parents have sacrificed, your communities, for some of you, have sacrificed. Some people go to school because there was a small harambe that was done by the community. I want to encourage you to be determined not to leave this gate of Butere when you live in Form 4 without having passed. I remember when I came here, because I came from Likuyani, it was very far. And I used to look at the gate that we entered and left, and I used to tell myself, I did not travel so many kilometers from Likuyani to come and live with nothing. Students, now we are even talking of a national school. That time it was a provincial school. Students seated here today have come from all parts of this nation. Sometimes when you're in that bus, or sometimes when you're in that train, or sometimes when you're traveling by whatever means, I want you to imagine the many kilometers that you travel to come to this school. And tell yourself that you will not leave this school without having passed. And when you have that determination, you will pass. We used to have a saying that was written there that said, determination knows no barrier. And we used to look at it every day. And many of us got determined, and the Lord was so faithful. And I want to tell you also my testimony, that it was in this school that I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ when I was a student in Form 1. I had been brought up in a Christian home, but I had never heard that someone could give their lives to Jesus. And I can tell you that is what I depended on. We prayed, we fasted, even, with the food here, we sacrificed that. And look at what the Lord has done. There is no way you can sacrifice many things in your life and the Lord leaves you. So let's continue working hard out there. As you finish your Form 4, the country is waiting for you so that you can come and make a difference. And it is good today that we have launched this digital hub, so that once you come out there, you have some digital skills that is going to help you, help the communities, help your family, and help our great country. So thank you once again. And I want to promise that I'll keep coming, because as you know, this school is very close to my heart. This is the place that made me, and I'm so grateful that I came to Butere Girls. And with those remarks, we had a discussion with the principal while we were at the holding room there in her old office. Would you imagine that that was the administration block that was there in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s? And Madam Chair, Bomb Chair, as the alumni, together with friends like Kina CS Owalo, Deputy Governors, Honorable Savula, we want to come back and make a difference again in this school to give our teachers a good administration block so that we can be proud of. So that is one of the agendas that we have. I know beauties, the last time I was here, you talked about a Scania bus. Did you forget? So we are also trusting God, and we know that God willing, one of these days, a Scania bus will come here. The principal has informed me about the shortage of teachers. That is an information that she's given me, and we can speak to the government authorities so that we can have more teachers come to this. I think who went for study leave, and that the German students don't have a teacher. We are going to work together with the board, Justice Helen Wasilwa, and the rest of the alumni and the board members, just to push some of these things. And being a first lady tells you that when I go to other schools, I also get the same requests. So just be patient, and we know that God is going to help us. Indio. And because I came, I want to give a small gift to the students, to the teachers, and to the support staff, because I know there cannot be a staff without support. So this one, I will leave it to you this time. I will not ask many questions like I did the other time. So, Madam Principal, I'm going to give 300,000 to the students. They can decide on what they want to do. I don't know what meal they would want to take. To the teachers, I'll give 100,000. And to the support staff, 100,000. Thank you so much. May the good Lord bless you.
Mwa